Good afternoon, Arda.
Hello, Elizabeth.
I am on page 11 of your book. Now, I've read the whole book, but today I'd like to focus on page 11.
Sounds good.
Is that all right? Do you know the book by heart?
No, not yet.
Practically, though. You're like, oh, I think it was on page 47 when I said this. So I read this,
Yes,
and the subchapter heading is Reasons Behind Feeling Stuck. I'm like, ooh, this is great. And the first sentence made me react. I'm like, what is he talking about?
what
So I'm
was
going to
that?
read the first sentence.
Okay.
Even though an emotional reaction is neither good nor bad, what? At the end of the day, it's an energy drainer, leaving you feeling depleted afterward. What do you mean? So, in my past and in my life, happiness is good, sadness is bad, joy is good, anger is bad. So, what do you mean it's neither good nor bad?
It's an invitation to non-duality, meaning emotions are a natural product, or maybe you want to say byproduct of our thoughts,
Oh,
of
so I
our,
think something and I feel something.
yes, emote something. So you feel, you think something, you see something, you perceive something, and then you emotionally react to it. So it's a natural outcome of your thoughts.
But I don't see you angry ever.
Because I worked on my thoughts.
So you don't want to feel joy either?
I'm feeling joy at a deeper level.
Can you explain that? Because I'm not really sure I get it.
Sure. So we are always perceiving life according to our own thought patterns, belief systems, value sets. Okay.
Yes.
These thoughts, beliefs, values have been forming through our past experiences.
Okay.
And it's kind of our programming. We are taught, we are programmed, we are conditioned to see life through the lenses of our thoughts, beliefs, and values. Okay.
Right. So what we learn as children, we kind of just bring those beliefs with us, and that's how the lens through which we see life.
Yes,
What you're
through
saying?
some feedback from our parents, from our society, from our friends, from our teachers, from our relatives, from our elderly, from our siblings, we have formed, hey, this is what I'm going to interpret the situation as, and this is how
Oh,
I'm going to react. This is how I'm going to act.
okay.
All right. So when somebody says, oh, it's a good person or a bad person, or somebody is a kind person and rude person, I always look at why. Why are they so? Because, yes, in society, we classify them as good or bad. Yes, anger is bad. Yes, joy and happiness is good. Because energetically, right? Energetically, when you're angry, you are draining your energy. And that's kind of what I included in the book.
Mm-hmm.
When you are joy, you are adding energy. So everybody wants everybody to be happy so that we are big, nice family, that we have lots of big energies, good energies, right? But when you think about it, nobody can avoid anger,
Right.
right? Or no one can avoid feeling sad. No one can avoid feeling frustration. Okay. So therefore, I want to invite everybody, hey, wait a second. This is normal. Let's take that as a normal outcome of our
Mm-hmm.
perceptions, which are our thought patterns, belief systems, and set of values, and put them on an operation table, put them on a form and start to look into them. Why are we reacting angrily? Why are we getting frustrated? Why are we feeling sad? So that's does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I'm wondering, I've heard people say you won't know joy until you've experienced sadness or things like that. Is that true?
That is true. So you ask me how I feel joy. Sometimes I'm ecstatic. Sometimes I am maybe calm but feeling joy inside. So I don't know, because I respond to everything in that moment. I'm trying to decondition myself. So I'm there present, and whatever comes naturally, I react that
Okay.
way. All right. So yes, sadness, anger, frustration, all sorts of things I've been processing over the years. And therefore, when something hits me as a trigger, a situation, a challenging situation, a difficult person, then I kind of look at them first, but then bring my attention back inward to understand what is happening within myself, within my ego, within my psyche, within my programming, how I'm taking this trigger, this situation, and this person in.
So do you think there are times when anger is warranted? Like you should be angry and it maybe brings attention to an emergency or to something that's happened or
We should ask that to people who get angry.
really, you never get angry?
No, I mean, I am angry, I get angry, and I was angry, and I was rageful, and all sorts of things, all the spectrum of anger I experienced. But when you're saying, oh, is this justified? Again, I think we are going back to this. Is this good? Is this justifiable? Is this not justifiable? When you
Yeah,
ask someone who is angry at someone, they can justify with a book. They can write a book about why they should be angry. And when you ask the other person who is on the receiving end of that anger, the person will write a book about why the other person shouldn't be angry at them.
I got it. I think I'm thinking like, oh, if there's a car accident and somebody's doing it, but maybe it's more assertive because I have a problem with like assertive and anger. It feels the same thing to me, right?
I use assertive differently. I think what is the difference between assertive and aggressive in your vocabulary?
Huh. It's a good question. Anger feels out of control, where assertive feels in control of your emotional reaction.
Perfect. I think that is pretty close to what I'm thinking also. Like assertive is being direct and
Yeah.
matter of factly, and anger is more emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an
Okay.
aggressive defensive action. So when you're assertive, you are not really defending anything. This is a fact.
Right. Right. So, what does all this have to do with feeling stuck?
Because emotional reactions are the biggest sign I've come across over the years, biggest sign that we are stuck. Because remember, like in the beginning, you said, oh, happiness is good, sadness is bad. What do we all want?
I mean, I don't know what we all want, but we want to be happy,
Exactly.
joyful, fulfilled.
Exactly. What's in the way?
Our emotions, how we react to people and to things, and we're out of control and we can't make things happen the way we want, and we keep ending up in the same place,
Exactly.
even when we try to make change.
Exactly. Even when we are trying to make change, oh, yeah, I'm not going to get angry next time. Oh, I'm not going to get frustrated when my kids don't listen to me. I'm not going to, feel down when my spouse puts me down. We can make all these promises. Nothing is going to change in our behavior, in others' behaviors, in situations that we face day in, day out. Nothing is going to change because we are emotionally reacting to these things, expecting different results. That's
Right.
the
It's sort of like saying, oh, next time I'm going to react, I'm not going to get so angry, or next time I won't say that. And inevitably you repeat that pattern. And if you purposely don't say anything, everything gets just all caught up in your body, like you're going to explode and then eventually explode. So what's missing here?
what's missing first is awareness.
Right.
Are we aware why we are emotionally reacting to people, to situations the way we do?
No, I don't think we are. I think most of the time we just go on and just kind of act without even thinking. There's no thought processes, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Like Biology of Belief, the author of Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton, said 95% of our actions and reactions are all subconscious.
Why is that? I mean, because we're trying to live in a comfort safety zone, and that's all we know is to be safe. You act like this because that's what we've learned.
Exactly. We learn how to be safe. We learn how to survive. So we basically mapped out what our survival mechanisms are, and in that map, on that map, or in that kind of like guidelines, how to survive in life, we do not have vulnerability. We do not have, oh, be vulnerable, right? Brené Brown talks about be vulnerable. Take the
Vulnerability
power back.
is really scary because if you want to be safe, it's sort of like the opposite of vulnerability. To be
Exactly.
safe, you have to be closed in. So, how did that notion even come up of not being safe? So, if our thoughts are 95% subconscious and we're in the safety zone, we're trying to survive. How do you get, or how do you even know what joy is? And how do you have to be vulnerable, but doesn't vulnerable mean you're dead? That's what vulnerable. I mean, it's just like if an animal's vulnerable, you die.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's I think what we are running under, this animal instinct to be safe, you know. And your point is very valid, Elizabeth, because when we are scared of our lives, in a sense, you know, what does society expect from us? Success, right? Romance, you know, houses, cars, you know, all safety and fulfillment, achievements, accomplishments. So how are we going to achieve all of this? How are we going to experience all of this when we don't know how to play within the society? Right?
Well, aren't the lessons we've learned through living life, haven't they taught us to do those things? Get a house, be successful, try this, try that, try this. And you do all those things. And when you're not successful, you go back and go, I got to do it again and try it again. So we follow those rules but it doesn't work until we're at a point in our life where like, nothing's changing. I can't get there. I'm stuck.
Even we have exactly that, because we keep repeating, we keep, you know, fulfilling others' expectations of us, or the expectations we built for ourselves based on our education, our upbringing, and we keep chasing them. And you and I met a lot of successful people. A lot
Yeah.
of people accomplish amazing stuff. They have, you know, I don't know, everything that you can imagine. Someone successful having, they have all of that. But then, are they immune to emotional reactions?
No.
If they are not immune to emotional reactions, if they have emotional reactions, that means that they are still stuck somewhere, right? Because
Yeah.
they are still perceiving life not from this amazing inner peace and joy and you know, bliss and grace. They are still looking at things that are, oh, this is a threat to me, oh, this is another attack to me, oh, this is an opportunity missed, oh my god, I can't believe that I will not be able to get this job, or get this promotion, or be happy at my home with my wife, with my husband, with my kids. Everything is getting to me. I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling suffocated. Even though we accumulate so many things, even though we accomplish so many things, something missing inside. What
But
is
why
that?
do people think they have to become stronger and stronger and stronger and more in control? Because if you said to get where you have to be or where you want to be, you have to be more vulnerable, not stronger, stronger, stronger,
Yes,
more in
because
control.
exactly. So what is vulnerability? Vulnerability is acknowledging the void inside. Okay, let me
Who's
put
going to
it
do
that
that?
way.
Who wants to do that? There's no void. It's not there. It's
Uh-uh.
full. I'm
Oh, yeah,
perfect.
don't say that. Don't say that.
Ah,
Exactly. So therefore, we put layers of walls through our accomplishments, through our titles, through our promotions, through our marriages, through our relationships, through our friendships, through our kids, through our cars and houses. We just put layers of protection around us so that no one could see our void, and also we avoid to see it ourselves.
true. So how does change happen then? How does it happen? If we have all this built up,
By
how does somebody say, "Oh, I meant," it's almost like saying you have to deconstruct all the walls, and I just imagine a castle in the middle, right? And there's wall after wall of reinforcement after wall after wall after wall and wall. It seems like an impossible task to knock down all those walls.
yeah, well, let's give up. Let's give
Okay,
up.
let's give
It's
up.
impossible.
Just
Done.
look from the mountaintop to the middle in the castle where people are happy.
Yeah, exactly. Just let's go to the mountaintop. Don't worry about anything. Just sell everything and be a monk. Well, I don't think, even I have not interviewed and I have not have any monk clients, even though I work with monks, as you know, part of Migro Zen
Yes.
Buddhist sect of Buddhism, I would say, for 6 months. And I've been, interacted with a few monks, and I'm happy to report that they are not different than us.
Really?
Yeah, they're not.
Do they talk?
They talk.
Oh, it's not a vow of
So,
silence.
but obviously, I didn't live in monastery, so I
No, I
cannot say
understand.
all the training in the monastery that goes on. Or just, but let's stay away from the monks for a second. So,
Okay.
so how about this void concept and trying to avoid the void concept? How do we get those walls down?
Yeah. How?
We don't. The walls come down by themselves. Because when we are so afraid of facing our own void, facing our own vulnerability, and we build these walls one layer after a layer to surround us, to protect us, to feel safety, one day we realize, unfortunately, this has to happen this way, that the walls collapse and we become very vulnerable unintentionally, involuntarily.
Okay.
That forces us to start thinking about life, thinking about ourselves, and asking the questions, why am I here today after trying to avoid being here?
Right.
Meaning, I accumulated all of this. I achieved all of this. I got married to the best, the sexiest, the most handsome, and I have 2 kids. I have a house. I have the car and another car, and I have all these vacation homes. And boom, one day you hit a wall and realize, wait a second, this is a house of cards
Yeah.
that I try to avoid to look at. I try to run away from my void that I've been feeling inside. And here I am, completely knelt down, kneeling down into like, oh my God, What is going on? How did I get here, even though I was trying to avoid to face my vulnerability, to face my void?
So when you're talking, I think of somebody that goes, you have everything, everything to be happy. Why aren't you happy?
Because happiness is a concept, it's a feeling that we can connect with inside of ourselves, right?
It's not an external, like, oh, I'll get happiness from that and that on the outside.
It's not an outside factor, an,
Hmm.
an element from outside that you can take it and say, oh, that's great. It's like water, it's like sand. You grab it and then it starts to drain itself. Not, you will be left with nothing if you keep chasing happiness outside of yourself. But if you start to understand, again, you keep asking, how are we going to get through these walls? How are we going to face our vulnerabilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts with the awareness of, why am I emotionally reacting? What is going on internally? And also, why am I doing the things the way I'm doing? Why am I chasing success? Why am I proud of my accomplishments? Right?
So if somebody starts to look inside, though, at that time of need or depression or dismal outlook, you don't see a lot of joy. So when people come to you for coaching, if somebody is in that, like, I feel I in the dark mode, nothing's bringing me happiness and I have no internal joy, how do you help them discover that internal joy or create it? Do we have internal joy or do we have to create it ourselves?
We do have the internal joy, Elizabeth. Good news. So, however, it's obviously a process. The first session is usually not enough to get in touch with that joy. That is absolutely dormant, lying within ourselves, dormant, pressed by the void that we are feeling.
Okay.
And the void, let's talk about the void. What is the void to you?
It's a feeling of emptiness and having nothing. And it's there's nothing there. It's a black hole. There's
The
nothing
black.
there.
Exactly. And in that darkness lies of all of the feelings, the fears that we experienced in the past. So we put them into this dark hole, and that is the void.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not recognized. I feel not good enough. I am ashamed of myself. I don't think I have a worth. Oh my God, nobody likes me. I have no redeeming qualities. I'm not going to be successful even if I tried, etc., etc., etc. Right? So those are all in that black hole, in that void, and we are not going there.
The black hole is pretty heavy, though. I mean, that's heavy, full of these really black thoughts. It's heavy, man. It weighs you down. That's why you
Exactly.
have a hot air balloon on your.
Yeah, the sandbags. I,
Yes.
I didn't want to be that dark uh, about the
Oh,
void.
it
I
just comes
kind of,
naturally for me, Arda.
yeah. I called it sandbags. Those are the sandbags. Exactly. They're wearing us down. Elizabeth, right on. Right on. They are wearing us down. So therefore, I will never ever tell anybody to experience joy the first session.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a pressure. It's an unnecessary pressure to tell someone to be happy when you know something will come around and will trigger them, and they will be emotionally reacting to them, taking any joy, any happiness that they might be experiencing at the time. You cannot sustain happiness, you cannot sustain joy for a long time because of your void that you are carrying inside.
So what do people do? Come with a situation and then you go from that situation, say like I'm on the dating scene and I keep getting rejected. I feel rejected and it's just playing into how do you even deal with that? Like I keep getting rejected and it's just making that void bigger and heavier and heavier and heavier. How do you change
Exactly.
that?
Exactly. So that exactly that happens on dating scene, on everywhere in life. I'm glad you mentioned the dating scene, but that rejection, what does that mean? That is part of the void. When somebody feels rejected, when they are stood up for in their
I don't
second
feel
date,
worthy. I don't feel loved. That hurts,
exactly,
man. That hurts.
that hurts. That's absolutely hurts. And do you think that it happened to them just once in their lives?
No, I think this has been going on for a while. That's why it hurts so much.
Exactly. And
But
that's
then
why,
you feel you're faulty. This has been going on all my life and it's still happening.
because why? We wanted to play safe. So we tucked it in into the void. I feel I feel rejected. I feel not worthy of love. I feel devalued. I feel nothing. I feel like nobody. You just put them all into one little bubble, one little blockage, put it into the void, into the dark room, and you said, I'm not going to go there. Do you think that life is going to let you go with that?
No, but I can't see any other scenario.
It is just knocking the door for you to understand that you have a fear of rejection, feelings of being rejected inside of you.
Do you
So
think I
you're,
search that out? Do you think I personally search out people who are going to reject me? Or do you think I attract people that are going to reject me because that's what I know?
I don't know whether you're attracting them or whether you are creating the situation or they already sense there's something going on and with you. So let's play that.
I'm not really talking about myself personally because I'm not on the dating scene, but people in the dating scene. Do you what is the
Yeah,
dynamic there? What happens?
yeah. Let's say you were dating,
Okay.
okay? So let's say you have this void inside of you, that this repressed feeling, that this sandbag that says, I have a fear of being rejected.
Right.
Why? Because you've been rejected before. You were in love with your high school a friend, and then you guys started dating, and all of a sudden, 3 months later, he uh, dumped you without a reason,
Somebody
and
else.
then start going out with your best friend. Okay, so you felt rejected. There was no explanation. You felt maybe your hair was off, or your nose was big, or you were uglier than your friend, or blah blah blah. So you were not as beautiful as your friend. You have this thought pattern, your belief system, and then set of values that you start to have a picture about yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So there are two ways going at it. One, you're going to start using some of the things that you have, maybe some sexiness, some intellect, some wittiness, some interesting perspective about life, or maybe some rebellious side of you. You're going to bring that up
Ah.
to lure the man, to get over your fear of being rejected. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's one way you can go. The other way you can go is completely admitting the defeat. You just say, okay, you know what, forget about dating. I'm not going to date. This was very painful. I'm going to just put that pain and feelings of rejection into my void and go on with my life.
Right.
But then years pass, and you have to date. So then, without you knowing, in your subconscious, this fear is lingering in that dark room, the
Right.
blockage, the sandbag, we call it. It's just doing. And you go on a first date, you are just so nervous because you are, you know, kind of deep down that the person is going to reject you.
Right.
Okay. Because it happened before. You know, you're just with all the good intentions, with all the positive thinking, you go there, hey, this is going to be great. And already deep down, anxious, nervous, worried that the person is going to reject. So if the person you think going to reject you, right? What are you going to do to compensate that?
Use humor or be loud or do whatever, that
Exactly.
it's sort of like a coping mechanism for hiding your insecurities.
Exactly. So again, two options. We are talking about the same person going two different directions. The first option is overly presenting your things that you feel comfortable, your sexiness, your wittiness, your rebellious perspective, or your political views, or whatever. You're like, you're charming the other person, but it is coming as a coping mechanism.
Right.
So you are not really deeply connecting with the person. You are trying to, quote unquote, present yourself so that you can accept it.
Right.
Okay. On the other side, the option B, you're kind of like going too shy. You cannot even like think about anything to say, because if you say something, you know they're gonna reject you. You're like little off. You just you know spill the water, and then you are just nervous. What will happen in both cases?
Yeah, both you probably end up being rejected.
Yes, you're gonna maybe have a one-night stand in the first one. You know,
Yeah,
probably.
that's it.
Maybe or a couple of sparks here and there, but not a deep connection, because both of you probably faking all this, the fire and the connection and chemistry, right? You're kind of like, oh my god, yeah, he's into me, and then boom, couple of months later, couple of weeks later, you get rejected again. And in the option B, already shy, not connecting, the person said, hey, oh wow, that was a waste of an hour. The person wasn't really, so you see. So I don't know if you are attracting that or you are creating that situation, but it happens all the time this way. And then we're scratching our heads and saying, oh my god, how can I get out of this vicious cycle, because I keep getting rejected. It looks like dating is not for me. So I'm going to get out of the online dating apps. I'm going to just
I'm just going to be alone. I'm done.
I am done. I am done.
Then what?
Well, that means that you're not going to live your life fully. So therefore, you're going to go into depression, into anxiety, into an unfulfilling life. Because life doesn't want you to go back home and give up on anything. Life wants you to actually come out there through your experiences, whether you are being rejected or not, through your own experiences, understand yourself.
So how do you do that? Okay, so I don't want either option. I just don't know what to do now. How do I stop repeating this vicious cycle?
Well, the first ever step is becoming aware of what is going on internally. Because what happens in either case, you keep blaming the other person. These men, in this case, we are talking, using you as an example. So we're like, these men, they are morons, they are idiots, they are animals, they are unthoughtful,
dishonest, full of themselves, blah, blah, blah.
Non-committal, and they are evil and this and that. So we are just putting more and more walls not to be vulnerable again.
Right.
Okay. But we are not aware of what is happening in this situation. We are just emotionally reacting, but we don't know where the emotions are coming from.
Right. Okay.
I
could also blame myself, right? And say, I'm just so unattractive and stupid and I don't sound smart. And of course, no one's going to love me. And so you can blame the other person, but you can also self-blame.
Absolutely. Right? Blame the other person. That's aggressive and sometimes blaming ourselves is just mostly sadness and depression. So anger, frustration, and hate and rage against others. And then when you internalize it, it just, oh, I am like this. Oh my God, I'm so unfortunate. This life is so lucky. I wish I was this person and that person. Oh my God. And then you are sad, you are depressed, you are anxious, you are worried about yourself, and you keep self-deprecating yourself all the time.
So you
And
say awareness. So where does the awareness come from? Awareness of what? How I'm feeling?
yeah, first, where's this depression coming from?
Or
Right?
maybe when I'm like, why am I thinking right away they're going to reject me? Why am I
Ex-
thinking that? I feel rejected.
Exactly.
Why?
So obviously, we have tools. We have
Yeah.
tools for us to slow down things and situations and the thoughts, right? So when we have these tools to slow down, then the person, when they are going to the dating, the first date, second date, third date, they will be able to become aware of their thoughts and
Mm-hmm.
then understand where those thoughts and
Oh,
belief systems and set of values are coming from.
right. Right. So slowing down, being aware of your thoughts, and trying to figure out where that started, that thought process.
Exactly. Understanding where they are coming from, where they started,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, originally.
Right. Okay.
That understanding usually results in a big explosion of aha moment, and eyes are lit up with bright stars in my sessions. I
Right.
mean, you are an amazing coach. I'm sure you had
Absolutely. They're
experienced that
like,
too.
oh, I didn't realize that.
That is what makes the whole thing start to turn the other way around, if you
Right.
will,
There's
because
that
we
shift.
start to go up in the consciousness and awareness, and all of a sudden see things differently from a different perspective. And that's what we need. We should not be thinking about the same thing from the same level and trying to make a positive, trying to make a story out of it, trying to justify things. No, no, no. Understand first, become aware of it and understand it. After that, you will gain a perspective naturally that will change the way you interact with people, with situations, and with life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's a
I think
way out. It's a
there is a
way
way out.
out and up where you
Yeah,
can change. And then when you start changing, your experiences change, right?
100%.
Huh.
Exactly the way we constructed the whole thing, because we have two options. Either we're going to try to connect too aggressively and we get rejected, or we are not going to even try because we are already feeling the rejection is coming and then get rejected. But either way, we are missing life, right?
Right.
But next time when we are aware of it, when we understand, we're going to be slowing down those things. I'm going to maybe you're going to maybe be less aggressive, really promoting yourself not to be rejected, or you're not going to be pulling yourself back. So you're going to go into it a little bit more, risking the rejection, facing your vulnerability, and that's when everything
And
starts
you're
to
kind of
open.
finding your authentic self, right? You're not playing, you're not being someone else and wearing all these masks, but you're taking the mask off and daring to be more authentic and genuine,
Love that.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Daring to live
Daring to live life, right?
fully
Outside of the comfort zone.
outside of the comfort zone.
Beautifully said. Thank you for that explanation.
Oh, you're welcome,
Just
Elizabeth. You're
answered all
holding,
these questions.
yes, you're holding such an amazing space. All these things are coming. I mean, ah,
It's
It's all
beautiful.
just like, I didn't even think about anything. Just like it was just coming through. Thank you so
Just
much.
flow.
This
Yeah,
is
no, thank you for this wonderful podcast. I learned so much,
yes. So let's meet
like
again
always.
next week.
Okay,
Let's continue our conversation.
sounds great. I can't wait.
All right.
All right,
Perfect.
have a great afternoon.
You too. Take care.